Living Memory, a Blasket Island story on Radio Kerry.
Carige seo I lárna mar an móra. Agus go lán vinnig tagan an araga cáthach lastúistí le fórnar gaotha. Now beg sure the comes to Kiona. This is a crag in the midst of the great sea. And again the blown surf drives right over it before the violence of the wind, so that you daren't put your head out any more than a rabbit that crouches in his burrow and in his fickle lawn when the rain and salt spume are flying. Often would we put to sea at the dawn of day when the weather was decent enough, and by the day's end our people on land would be keening us, so much had the weather changed for the worse. Something or other comes to me now and again, one thing after another, that keeps me from starvation. I hear many an idle fellow saying there's no use in our native tongue, but that hasn't been my experience. Only for it I should have been begging my bread. Thomas Crehan. Now, children, will be wished. Just because Miss Lee Hay isn't here today doesn't mean you can all act the goat. Now, where was I the last year?
Oh, you're going to tell us about the day you killed the giant seal?
No. I've definitely told you that before. I'm sure of it.
No, you didn't.
All right.
Yay!
When I was your age, I would get up very early some mornings and go out to get seaweed for fertiliser. One morning I was out so early it was still dark. I wanted to get down to the beach before the sun came up.
Could you see where you were going?
Even as a boy I knew this island like the back of my hand, and I had the sound of the waves to guide me. I was carrying the good fork with me to pile the seaweed. 4 foot long it was, about the height of you, Padder. I was walking across the beach when out of nowhere came the loudest snort I ever heard.
It
was a giant seal.
Did you run away?
Oh, not at all, my dear. That seal was big enough to feed every family here for a week, so I immediately got it into my head to kill it. Luckily it was a female and not a bull. 10 men couldn't take on a bull and live. So I crept up on it as quiet as I could. I had the handle of the fork raised up, ready to belt her over the head. She must have smelt me coming, for she turned around to face me and gave out a roar like a lion. I gave her a few hard blows across the snout with the fork, but she barely seemed to notice them. She was too busy trying to get back into the water. I put myself between her and the sea and kept hitting her with all my strength. But didn't she manage to grab the fork with her gaping mouth and bite down on it, breaking it in two like a matchstick.
Oh no.
I knew it was her or me. I picked up a heavy stone that was beside me. We were ankle deep in water at this stage, and I was getting too tired to keep the struggle going much longer. I knocked her as hard as I could with the stone a few times. She rolled over onto her back and gave out a sigh. I went over to check if she was still breathing, when all of a sudden she leapt up and took a bite out of me leg. It was a bad wound, I can tell you, but it was her last act on this earth. She rolled over onto her side and died. By then some of the others had heard the commotion and came down to help me. The leg healed eventually, and the seal meat was much appreciated by everyone on the island.
Yay!
Excellent story.
Oh, hello there.
Is that a true story?
Well, of course it is.
Owen Hollis is my name. Mr. Thomas Crehan, I presume.
Thomas will do, young man.
Nice to meet you.
You're very welcome to the Blaskets. Come on now, you must be eager to see the book. I have it above in the house. Now, children, go on away home now. Your mothers will be expecting you. Go on. Come in, Owen, and mind your head. This doorway wasn't built for men of your height.
You've only yourself to blame then, Thomas. Bring him in so before a seagull robs him off your doorstep.
Owen, meet my daughter-in-law, Eileen.
Nice to meet you.
Come in, Owen, and have a seat at the table. I have tea and rashers on for you.
There was no need for you to go to any trouble on my account, but thank you.
Oh, and it's from the university, Leash.
I'll go and fetch the book for him, so. Did you have any trouble finding Tomas once you arrived on the island?
Not at all. He was outside the schoolhouse surrounded by excited children, listening intently as he retold the wonderful story of a life and death struggle.
It wasn't the one about the seal, was it?
How did you know?
Ah, the children love that one, so they do.
But where were the rest of the children? I only saw a dozen or so with you.
That's all that remains, I'm afraid. When I was your age, a man could have a house full of children. There are only a few around here now. Every year it gets a little quieter.
Oh, that is a pity.
Anyway, here's that book I wanted to show you.
Ah, yes, now tell me. Where was it found?
It was a fortnight ago, up at Schleven Duna. It's the old fort out on the cliff.
So it was buried in the ground?
Well, the young lad who found it told me that he was taking a few stones from an old wall up there. He moved a heavy flat one, and under it he found a tattered cloth squeezed in between two stones. He took it out, hoping he found some great treasure, I'd say. And inside was this little book.
I expected it to be a bit bigger, I have to say.
The young lad took it down to me. I opened it, but I couldn't make head nor tail out of it. It was Leash here who told me it was probably Latin, like the old monks used to write.
I thought it might be an old Bible or something like that.
Best not get too excited yet, until we know what it is we're dealing with.
Of course. Here you go. There's me talking about it all this time, and all you want to do is have a read of it.
I'll have to be very careful opening this. There's no telling how delicate the pages have become over the years. That certainly is interesting.
What is it, Owen? Is the book very old, do you think?